Yannick, do you want to talk about silent notifications and expanding notifications?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. Although keep in mind, as Austin said in the introduction, is that every phone, or at least every Android branding, has its own kind of notification parameters and setup. So maybe what we are demonstrating today is not really exact the same way on your phone, on your device. And that's, well, I won't say expected, but it can happen. So you may have to dig around into parameters to see especially where notifications are and how to change such settings. Now, when the notifications shade is opened, dragging two fingers down on your locks on your home screen, for example, or within any app, from top to bottom, from the very top of screen to bottom, you will notice some notifications with a label collapsed attached to it. So what does that mean? This label, say collapsed or expanded, means that notifications by default takes a certain space on the screen, and if it's collapsed, it takes less space than when it is expanded. So what does it change for us? A few things actually, because when you have this collapsed notification, you will have just attached to it when doing a right finger swipe, you will have an expand button, and if you hit that button and you continue swiping to the right, you will see sometimes some action buttons depending on on the notification you are on. What I mean by action button, if for example you have a Twitter notification which is collapsed, then you swipe right, you tap on the expand button, and when you tap on the expand button and you swipe right again, you'll see some buttons like or retweet or reply or something like that. And if you have a Google Message, if you are using Google Message for receiving and sending text messages, for example, if you swipe right and type the expand button, you will also have some very handy button like mark as read or reply. And a few notes about replying. If you are using a recent Android version, when you type on a reply, it will open a text. It would add an edit text field in which you can type the reply, but it won't launch the application itself. It's called In Replies by Google, and you are still in the notification panel, and you can just raise up your keyboard and type your message. And when you hit the send button, you will still be in the notification shade again. So that's sometimes handy. Sometimes it's a little painful to use that functionality. To be honest, for me, for my text messages, for example, I always use the mark as read when I read the message, but not reply. I don't use it that much. Are you using that, guys? The reply command button?
I happen to use that a lot because I don't want to open the app. Most especially if you have the message, because the message, when you expand it, you're reading the message there. There's no need for me to actually open the messaging app. So what I do is after I do that, I find the reply and I simply tap on that. And like you said, Yannick, it opens up the editing field right there and it pops up my keyboard and I just type my message and hit the send right there. And I am done with it. I could tap on mark as read and then that is done with and it's gone. Now, if I'm trying to verify you've signed up for something and it sends you a text message, for verification. And when you expand it, there's that copy, there's a copy, the text or the code that was sent to you. And so it's a very handy feature that I really like in Android when it comes to things like that. And you just copy that and go to the application. You're not opening the messaging, and you simply swipe up with two fingers to close the notification, and you're back in the app that required that verification code. And then you tap on the edit field, and if you have the autofill set into place, then what happens is that your keyboard is going to have that code that was copied to the clipboard, and it shows then you just tap on that and you're good to go. So I really like the feature.
Last note regarding this expand button. Keep also in mind that in TalkBack and commentary screen reader as well, you can always set up an action gesture, which would open the action menu depending on the element you are on. And on the notification, this action menu may contain, it's not always the case. It depends on how it's implemented, but at least on recent phones, it may contain several actions like a mark a read or a reply or even dismiss notification. It can be in there as well. So that's also a possibility for you to have this to access these notifications action buttons. Always customize sounds for each notification. And I mean by each notification, I mean each notification type. So if, for example, you are receiving, a Twitter notification, you may customize sounds for when you are receiving a tweet, or when someone likes your tweet, or when someone replies to your tweet, for example. And that's very handy because you can, another example, if on the message app, you can customize sounds for contacts, for example, saying my contact, my favorite contact as a special bing bang bong. So I know exactly who is sending me a text message, which is somewhat very handy. And it's a kind of, no, I won't say a pain, but it's, it can take a little time to be sure to find the correct option and to set up the thing correctly. But when it's done, it can be very handy to filter, I would say, notifications based on who sends them or on what's in the notification as well.
And I think as well, Yannick, with different sounds, you can also have different notifications from the same app going to silent or not, can't you? So if you have someone whose messages you don't really care about, you can send those to the silent bin and have everyone else's bing, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So if you for example, let's say if I bring down my notifications, for example, so I get this thing from Best Buy. If I don't want this notifications, I long press on it. If I long press on the Best Buy notification, I could choose
more settings button.
There's some more settings where I could go in there and say, hey, never show any notification from Best Buy.
Button default may ring or vibrate based on phone settings selected.
And so by default, it will ring or notify me with those bing bong bong sounds. Or
button silent.
If I tap here,
Silent, no sound or vibration selected.
So I have switched that Best Buy notification to the silent mode. And so when I go to
Apply.
So I tap on apply.
Messages, Best Buy, more
So
settings.
if I close out of here,
Notification shade silent. Clear all silent notification. iPad Pro, Best Buy, 48 minutes ago. Supercharged.
you
by the
see
Apple
now my Best Buy notification that was in the Bing Bong Bong area is now set to my silent notifications. So I'm not going to be hearing any sounds from Best Buy, yet in the same breath, it is there in my notification because I want to be able to see those Best Buy sales, but I don't want to be bothered by the noises that come from my Best Buy notification. Now, if I decide I want it back, then all I have to do is long press on it again and go choose the default, which means the default for sounds and things like that.